When you think of community service, what comes to mind? Hopefully something positive, and getting involved is easier than you think. Little did I know that at 9 years old, a common ear infection would change my whole perspective on life. Sick and home from school, looking for cartoons, up popped the Adopt a Village channel. And before my antibiotics kicked in, I was sponsoring little Rebecca Patullo and her family in Malawi. It was at that moment that I realized that there are hardships and problems that existed outside of my own world. A visit to the Montreal Children's Hospital led to a garage sale fundraiser, and then that led to being a big sister to children with special needs. All of these opportunities made me realize that there was so much out there to do, and that anyone can get involved. You start high school a little anxious, but mostly excited. You attend that first high school assembly, and then your principal drops that S word, service, community service. Now, what that principal didn't tell you is that unlike being on a sports team or a debating team, community service requires no practice. You see, community service is something that requires no studying, no real talent, just a smile and a wish to make someone else feel special. How do you make someone else feel special? The opportunities are endless. Now, you don't have to fly halfway across the world to make a difference. Poverty, hunger, and homelessness not only exist in Ethiopia or in Kenya, but you can also find them right here in your own backyard. I am sure that there are students at your school that go to bed hungry at night or even wake up in the morning without eating breakfast. I am sure that you know kids who have been bullied or who have been treated badly. Community service is an attitude of kindness, a kindness that gives half your sandwich to that kid that goes to school hungry, a kindness that smiles at that kid in the hallway who was bullied, an attitude that helps that old lady with groceries cross the street, a kindness that helps your little annoying brother with their homework. Because being socially conscious is not just about raising money or building a school, but being socially conscious is also an attitude about caring for your fellow man, be it here in this auditorium or in a continent away in the middle of nowhere. Now, adults may think that community service is both a daunting and an overwhelming task, but we, the younger generation, have this amazing curiosity and energy that makes no task impossible. 2 years ago, on a service trip to the Dominican Republic, I met a little girl named Jenny. She went to school in a rusted old school bus, crammed with 70 other kids. Learning on a mattress, baking in the heat, Jenny watched us complete the foundation of her new school. By day 3, she had gathered a group of her friends together and joined us in our bucket brigade, helping to pass heavy cement to build the roof. Together, with Jenny and her friends, we built a classroom and a teacher's office. And sure, it was tiring and tough, but working side by side with this little girl simply taught me that anyone can help others, even if you're 6-year-old Jenny, who lives on less than $1 a day. Upon completion of our project, a teacher pulled me aside and said, "Thank you for working with our community and not just for our community." And at that moment, I realized that service was a precious relationship. As much as I know that Jenny benefited from her new school, it was I who benefited from Jenny's strength and determination. It is that type of connection that makes any type of community service meaningful for both the recipient and the volunteer. It makes sense that doing community service is probably the most selfish thing that you can do. Think about it. Anyone here who has donated their time or their energy to a good cause remembers how wonderful it felt to be part of something good. Every time you do something to help others, you get this wonderful and rewarding feeling in return. And by gaining this wonderful feeling in return, you are going to make a difference in someone else's life. All the girls in the room, put your hands up. If you were born in Kenya, most of you would not be able to attend school because it would be your job to fetch water for your family. Now, imagine if you lived in rural India and you were lucky enough to go to school, but your school had no roof to shield you from the sun or the rain. Imagine being in South Africa trying to help a malnourished boy, but he's terrified of you because you're the first white person that he has ever met. Imagine walking down René Lévesque Boulevard and seeing homeless men huddled together, trying to stay warm in the winter. Imagine your best friend leaving home because they are a victim of domestic abuse. Now imagine with your help, whatever that may be, you can change their worlds to a much better reality. In my little and humble experience, I have come to realize that here in this auditorium, we live in the future. What am I doing this weekend? What university am I going to? Hey, what are we having for dinner tonight? But on the other side, I feel that those who are desperate live in the now. They live day to day, moment by moment. And I am in awe of their resilience and their ability to be happy. Each day is a gift that they get to go to school and get that one meal. Each night is a blessing that they find shelter and a warm blanket. I know that I am just one small voice, but if we look around this room and if everyone here just did one small gesture towards helping those less fortunate, then perhaps someday soon, we can live in a world where everyone, be it in our backyard or across an ocean, can think of living in the future. And perhaps they too will have the power to do great things. Brilliant modern-day philosophers and psychologists have labeled us as the selfie generation. We've been accused of being extremely self-centered and that we don't care about anything unless it's on our Instagram accounts or our Facebook pages. According to these professionals, we are doomed because we can't even look up from our cell phones. Now, I'm no expert, but I think that they have it backwards. Because whether we are truly selfish or not, we should look at our selfishness as a gift and embrace it. Everyone in this room has the power to do great things. And if we are being identified as a selfie generation, then let's take that selfishness, be good to ourselves, and turn it into change. Find your passion, find a project, and be the change. Thank you.